overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman, and tonight we're drafting the big board. Some pre-draft best ball here on Underdog, and the tournament's getting pretty close to filled. People have been talking about this 85.1% fill. Can we get it filled in the next week and a half or so? I think with the 4-hour pick clock, it's kind of keeping people away from just mass entering slow drafts at this time, but usually that last 5% does fill pretty quickly. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it fills maybe a day or two ahead of the NFL draft, maybe a couple days before. I'm sitting right at about 60 big boards right now, maxed a little. I've done one bigger, one biggest, and looking to, I don't know, get as many as I can in. Didn't really intend to max the big board because I know there's going to be a lot of really cool contests out, a lot of like time box contests out to go along with Best Ball Mania. So looking forward to some of those. And yo, what up, Tyler? How you feeling, man, after all those wings? And other big news today was the Derek Carr news. I think that injury coming out, it's like the Saints were trying to withhold that information for as long as possible to not give up what they might be trying to do in the NFL draft. But I'm feeling pretty confident now that more quarterbacks are going to be getting drafted in that first round, if not with the first 2 or 3 picks in the second round. Kind of similar to the situation with last year's quarterback draft class, where with five rookies taken in the first round, 5 rookie quarterbacks, and maybe 4 of them were expected to go, but both, Nix and then Michael Penix Jr. going, I think, were those 2 picks that were like, people were uncertain where they'd end up, how early they would go. So there's been kind of a new precedence that's been set on getting your guy, getting your potential franchise quarterback, and having to trade up to do it too. So I think the Derek Carr news, that's the biggest thing that's come out. Other than that, there's been a few more mock drafts that have come out recently. I think people are going to be pivoting a little bit, and maybe showing the Saints more likely to do something like trade up or go ahead and take a quarterback with their first pick. I think they've got that. I want to say it's the 7th pick overall, might be the 9th pick overall. I know they picked pretty early on. Let me open up that mock that I have over here. Yeah, the Saints are picking 9 overall. In a mock that I had from about 10 days ago, which a lot of things have changed since then. A lot of things haven't changed, but some things have. I previously actually had Jahdae Barron going to the Saints at 9 overall, but we'll have to see what they do, if they're going to pivot away from a defensive selection there, or if they are going to get their quarterback of the future. I'm going to look to jump into this big board pretty quick. I'm going to post something in the Pounders Discord in case I jump into this room and we need some time to fill it. So I'm going into currently drafting, going down, and then so I'm going to enter this one now. If you want to jump in, this draft should be starting up. Waiting for 10. Perfect. So I didn't want it to start right away. Let me go ahead and put the bat signal out in the Pounders Discord. I know Pat's been streaming, so he might still be wrapping it up. And yeah, I was going through some of my exposures, and I think it's like the perfect timing in the big board, where some people have already maxed it. Some people have, just a few drafts left. So with my ability to kind of do as many drafts as I want going forward, having like 90 left, I can really control where my exposures go. I can make some bigger stands on players that I've already been taking a lot of, or I can try to even out my exposures. I think I'm going to lean into just evening it out and drafting really sound teams, because one thing you can do to differentiate yourself in advance is player takes. Like, you know, fading certain players uh, can go a long way, and then leaning into certain players and increasing your exposure can help you if you hit it. If it's a little bit harder to do, but if you hit that on and you get those right. The other thing you can do is be really strategic with how you're building your teams, making sure you have like a really sound team structure, team correlation, stacking, taking the right amount of positional players, whether it's tight end or quarterback, or getting the right amount of draft capital allocated. So you think about those like draft capital allocation buckets. I think of it in quintiles. So there's pretty much, you could be in the first or you could be in the fifth and anywhere in between. For running backs, you typically, it depends year to year, but you typically want to be spending the right amount of capital, not overspending on running back. Wide receivers, you really can't overspend. It's almost impossible to do. So that's where you want to be in that first or second draft capital bucket as an entire positional group. Tight ends, you can do it one of two ways. You can either go elite tight end, you could go with more middling guys, try to hit on some breakout players, or you can completely go with like a late tight end strategy. I think all of those have proven. The thing with the elite tight end strategy is you can get some playoff hammers. You can get a tight end that can maybe have 2 or 3 tight upside, which is kind of rare. Guys like Kittle, Kelsey, maybe Mark Andrews. There aren't that many names. Maybe a Sam Laporta, guys who can go off and differentiate by their touchdown ability. I think Tucker Kraft is a guy I want to aim for a little bit more. I might have to kind of reach up to take him, and he's a player that I don't usually take unless I already have Jordan Love. So I'm looking to maybe get some more of him just on my teams in general. And yeah, this draft is full. I'm seeing a few familiar names. I'm pretty sure we've got I think Hartman's in here. Oh, there he is. Perfect timing. Just getting it started. And how you doing tonight, my man? Hope you're having a great night. Let's see. Kick this one off. I'm actually going to close out of Discord. I don't think you guys can hear that, but when I get the Discord notifications, like it really, those little beeps get to me. I don't know. Do I want to go Saquon or Justin Jefferson second overall? I'm kind of leaning Justin Jefferson tonight because I think there's some interesting things you can do around like the 2-3 turn. Saquon, there's going to be a lot of running backs available at that part of the draft, so Saquon kind of limits what I can do. I've got a fair amount of Saquon, but I actually want to be really heavy into Justin Jefferson. I want to keep that exposure up high, and I think that's what I might do. I don't know. I'm still not 100% there, but Justin Jefferson feels like where I want to start this draft tonight. So I'm going to start with that one. What's up, Tyler? Appreciate y'all being here, checking out this stream and chilling. It's been a pretty good Friday night. I've been catching up on some Masters highlights, checking out some other streams in the best ball streets, of course, and just taking it pretty easy. So looking to fire off this big board, and then we'll see where we go from there. At least this one draft, but I'm thinking I might do 2. It is Friday night, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna do one less. Yeah, taking Jay Jettis with the first pick, and actually Bijan goes to Dalvin. So that's definitely a player taking Bijan over Saquon. I don't mind it. Another player I've been trying to get more of is actually Brian Thomas Jr. For some reason, I'm a little bit lower on him. It's probably because when you have the option to go with like Amon-Ra or Neighbors or Nico in the same range that you can get BTJ, I've typically been clicking those other guys. There's something to be said around with Brian Thomas, like his his role in that team seems extremely secure. I would argue the same thing for Nico. With Puka, there's obviously the disruption of Devontae Adams. Neighbors, anything could happen. Quarterback wise, the changeup. I think he's quarterback proof, but do they get Travis Hunter? Do they, what's going on with the Giants? They're a little bit more unstable, and yeah. So and then Amon-Ra, it's like that's just a team that has so many different skill position players that can really go off in a week. Obviously, Amon-Ra's been has the production to prove his track record's been really, really good. But offensive coordinator change and potentially they have just been overproducing touchdowns. Maybe Goff kind of has a down year, and that could really hurt Amon-Ra. Although I think to some extent he's still worth a first round pick. I'm not saying that, but what I would do is if in this next draft I have a pick kind of in that 8, 9, 10, 11 range, I think Brian Thomas would be a fair pick just to even things out. How you doing tonight, Putt Daddy? Hope you're having a good one, and hope you're having a great Friday night. Genty, Drake London. Drake London's a pick that it's like he had a really, really good season last year, but does he justify kind of being at that 1-2 turn spot? I typically am looking at AJ Brown there, and then I think Ladd McConkey's interesting too. I'm not afraid that Ladd's going to like fall off as this in his sophomore year. I think especially when you look at like what Ladd did in the playoffs versus the Texans, that gives you a little bit more insight of like, man, this guy could really have one of those spike weeks that you gotta have in the best ball playoff weeks. With Drake London, a lot is riding on Michael Penix Jr. to produce if he's going to be their surefire starter, and then you have maybe controversy with Kirk Cousins. So that one seems a little bit more up in the air, where there might be just a little bit more risk associated with picking Drake London over Ladd, but maybe a coin flip at this time. All right, so for this next pick, I think, do I want to go Tyreek? I kind of like the way teams look when you've got Tyreek paired up with Jefferson. Tua goes a little bit later. Oh, there goes Tyreek. So that one's not going to work. But what I could do is Bucky Irving. I've taken a bit of Bucky with Justin Jefferson. Is this a draft? I think I'm too far away to get Daniels, and I'm trying to think of any other elite quarterbacks that I could potentially grab in this range, because that's something else I kind of want to do. It would probably be Jalen Hurts falling to me. I'm going to grab Bucky first. So with Justin Jefferson, of course, I'm going to aim for JJ McCarthy, but I think it'd be nice on this team to have an elite QB. So, I mean, reaching up and taking Josh Allen here at the beginning of the third round. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Hartman. You've been hammering AJ Brown. I think so too. I mean, AJ Brown was a first round pick last year. The Eagles had a really, really solid season. AJ Brown missed a few games. I think if he didn't miss those games, he'd still be a first round pick potentially. So something to think about. All right, back on the clock. So like I said, I kind of want to go with an elite quarterback on this team with Justin Jefferson. I think that could be a really strong build. I like Josh Jacobs. It's a good Green Bay Vikings, pairing. But if I go T here, I think T is a good pick. Gives me one more out potentially with Burrow. I thought about taking Mike Evans there. I can still probably get Godwin, and I've been seeing McMillan kind of fall a good amount. Jalen McMillan falling, so he's somewhat easier to get to. I can get a later team stack for the Bucks. Let's flip back to this board. Something I forgot to do last night, and I've actually been meaning to put together some more clips. I want to put together a highlight clip for T-Mac, for Tet McMillan is a guy I've been watching his highlights, and I've got something in the works for him. Another player is Cam Scatabo. I've been looking through some of his highlights. There's a lot to choose from. With the Cam clips, it's like, how do I narrow it down to something that can fit into like 20, 30 seconds? There's so many good highlights of his. So those are two things I'm cooking up that I was hoping to get to be able to debut on stream soon. Harmon says, you consider Burrow elite or tier below? I think for me personally, he's a tier below elite just because he's a pocket passer and he doesn't really have a rushing upside. And so while he's like one of the best pocket passers, his variability year over year is going to fluctuate on how many passing touchdowns he can sustain. And he's got the supporting cast right now that makes it, you could definitely make a good argument that he can sustain his high touchdown rate. But those are things that kind of tend to even out over careers. And so if he takes a little dip next year, who knows? The other thing is the other quarterbacks, I think, that have that safer rushing floor also have the upside of having a 2 or 3 touchdown game on the ground. So you think of what Jalen Hurts can do, what Lamar can do, Jayden Daniels, even though Jayden Daniels reminds me more of like Lamar, where it's mostly yardage and then the touchdowns are kind of lucky touchdowns. Like Lamar's not going to rack up as many touchdowns as Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts in a normal year. So this is interesting, though. No quarterbacks in the third round. So I'm in a pretty good spot to get, I would assume I'm going to be able to get Jalen Hurts. And I'll probably even take him over Burrow, even though I've got the T. Higgins stack potential. Yeah, I'm curious, Hartman, what do you think? Do you consider Burrow an elite or a tier below? I think of Burrow, and maybe it's more dynasty brain, but kind of closer to, well, I guess even in dynasty, he's way up there. But I think of Burrow, at least last year, when you can bring up like Stroud. Stroud and Burrow were kind of going in a similar spot last year. Maybe Burrow's going a little bit ahead, but that potential. And then, Baker Mayfield obviously is not thought of as the same caliber of a quarterback as Joe Burrow, but puts up similar numbers on a per game basis and has some great skill position players around him too, supporting cast. Mahomes, he's dipped the last couple of years, but he should be kind of similar to that. Dak Prescott in his best years, which I think he might be past. We'll see. With the Cowboys taking a receiver early on and maybe getting a really nice running back complement too, maybe the Cowboys offense comes back into form and Dak can have another career year. Dak's best career years are pretty similar to Joe Burrow's, not too far off. Yeah, and just like that, the elite rushing quarterbacks go Josh Allen, Jayden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, pretty much right in line with you. Lack of rushing upside puts him in a tier below top 4. That's what I think. And I think there's a little bit of consensus around that. Otherwise, if it wasn't for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase going where they do on the board, you'd probably see Joe Burrow fall more. It just doesn't make sense to try to push him back to these pick 72 range. It's really, really hard to do. Something I've tried to do, but I'm going to go with, for my first pick, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts and then see. Olave could be a fun pick, especially targeting a late Milrow or Dart with the Derek Carr news. So that gives a nice little another out there. I think I just like Olave, how he fits in here with Bucky being in the same division. And I think Olave has always been a pretty solid wide receiver. Like I said, though, Godwin might be the move. The more I think about it, I might want to go Godwin, but I'm not really tempted to take Baker Mayfield so early if I've got Jalen Hurts. If I do, I'm definitely going to be done with 2 QBs there. I think that's what I could take. It looks like James Cook's fallen a little bit. Maybe take James Cook. I'm going to go ahead and take Godwin here and keep rolling with some of these wide outs before I get behind the 8-ball wide receiver. Definitely tempted to take James Cook there. Probably a safer pick, especially with the falling value. But my team structure, I've already got Bucky, for some reason I had Tyreek there and then still went T. Higgins, I definitely would have scooped up James Cook as my RB1 in the 5th round. But I'm going to stick to the team structure that I'm going for, where I want to have my elite quarterback, and then I want to get some wide receivers really early, see what I can do to build out, what kind of team could beat a T. Higgins, Joe Burrow team. It's one that's going to have T. Higgins and Jalen Hurts potentially. Same thing with Jefferson and McCarthy, and then Godwin and Baker. I mean, really, those 3 receivers that I've gotten so far have some of the best, in my mind. I mean, maybe McCarthy's not there yet, but 2 of the better pocket passing quarterbacks that you could pair with them. The only way that you can beat one of those guys is to have like a Jalen Hurts, maybe a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson that goes off and is a QB1 of your week. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of with this team build. Olave seems a little risky with Dart or Milroe at QB. Yeah, that could be. Let's see if he falls. I mean, he's going to maybe make it around a little bit to pick 60 or so, but I wouldn't envision Olave falling that much further. And then, Olave's missed some time, but Derek Carr's missed time too. Olave's played with some pretty suspect quarterbacks here and there. So I think you're right. Olave probably is going to fall a little bit on this news, but I don't think it'll hurt him too much. The one thing with Putt Daddy, like, I've always noticed, where does Alvin Kamara go and where does Olave go? Because if you think about it from just like a pure football perspective, Kamara should always go ahead of Olave. But in this format where you're forced to take receivers earlier than you potentially should on fantasy points alone, I think that's what helps Olave stay ahead of Kamara, even though I think historically there's not a single season that Olave's even come close to sniffing the production that Kamara puts up. Car injury concern you at all with Olave? Yeah, so I mean, we just touched on that, I think, a little bit. What up, Green Bean? How you doing tonight, my man? Hope you're having an excellent Friday night, and hope you're looking forward to a great weekend. I'm pretty excited. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's Masters weekend, and there's a lot of different storylines to follow. So I'm deep in the weeds. I'm really excited about it. I'm pulling for Rory. My heart says Rory. My brain says you really can't count out Scotty Scheffler. And then I think also Justin Rose. I mean, that's a guy who's determined to win it. He's been in this position so many times, and so he kind of deserves it as well. And he's definitely having, a great run at it kind of in the later part of his career. So it's about time. Since Olave goes about 62, Hubbard and Olave is interesting. I think Kamara and Olave could have been a really good pick there. Pairing him up, just leaning into the Saints, leaning into the uncertainty a little bit. But that's an interesting build. If you look, it's got Brian Thomas and then Olave. So honestly, for Olave to fall there is actually a pretty nice value, I think, for that team who only has 2 wide receivers in the first 6. And then Travion going really early, I was going to touch on that. Kind of surprising to me how early Travion goes there. The draft hype is picking up some steam, but always a fun click to get a running back like that on your team. I've been in this position a lot lately. It's like, who do I take here? I might want to go Jaden Reed. He could be there with my next pick. If I go off ADP, that's who would be there. Maybe Najee. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Reed here and just get off my ranks a little bit for a second. What looks like a smash of a wide receiver group in 2024 maybe can also be one in 2025. Chris Godwin coming back. Everything's sounding pretty good. And then, before his injury, he was smashing. So Jaden Reed gives me one more out because Jordan Love typically is kind of falling and could be just late enough for me to take him, pair him up with Jalen Hurts, stop at 2 QBs. So that's what I'm considering. Do I want Najee on this team? The only thing with Najee is I'm kind of worried about his total yardage upside. Do the Chargers also draft another running back to complement him and he becomes more of a committee backfield like he was in Pittsburgh, but maybe he actually is less effective, less efficient. I do think that he can get those goal line touchdowns. So I'm kind of leaning Najee. I could also throw out David Montgomery and just stick with, I think, a slightly better team. Along the lines of Hawkinson is kind of interesting with the team that I've built out. I might do that now that I think about it. Stick to my guns a little bit and go more of a hero Bucky running back situation. I think Hawkinson could be fun. I'm going to go ahead and pull him up and match him up with Justin Jefferson. And the first thing I'm going to do once that pick makes it through is figure out where Addison went. So I'm just going to traditionally or historically, some of these running backs in this kind of range can be either big hits or it can just be big misses. And I'm going to kind of stay away from some of them for right now and get some running back value later on. So let me catch up with y'all. But Daddy says didn't care for Rory early in his career, but would like to see him complete his career slam. I would agree. I've always been a Rory fan, but I totally get this sentiment. That makes a lot of sense. Work weekends, but always happy to watch a live draft. Appreciate you being here, and yeah, good luck with the work this weekend and all of that. And always happy to have you in the chat. Worst case for Najee is a committee back soaking up red zone touchdowns. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe floor. That's a pretty good worst case. I've got a ton of Najee exposure in the big board though, and the little board. I just have them at pick 120, 110, 190. So I've just been a little bit reluctant to take him in the 70s when I've got so much good closing line value already. Although, one mistake that I didn't want to make year over year is when a player's rising up boards, like don't be afraid to chase them up the board. Usually those players are getting drafted higher and higher and steamed up for a reason. It's like more often than not, those are the guys that are worth it. So on a Chargers team that seems to be trending up. Yep. Yeah, totally. Got that. Bendel says, GM, got to join you soon, my big dog. Appreciate you being here, Bendels, and for all the support. Definitely got to get you in here drafting with me real soon. Caught some of your drafts earlier today, and I think you had a lot of smart things to say. And I think you're talking a lot about structure too and kind of building out these teams. So definitely got to get you out here. Can we get an exposure check? I'm glad you said that. I'm actually a little bit ticked off because I just recently downloaded and set up Best Ball Overlay, and I've got it all working perfectly. And then I go to start up the stream, and Google Chrome was giving me the worst errors. I couldn't log into Underdog. It was giving me the woof error. It was giving me all these problems. And so I was actually talking with Underdog support earlier today. I thought I had it resolved. They're having some issues with Chrome browser. I don't know if it's some of my other extensions or what's going on, but as I had it all set up, it was ready to go. As soon as I was going to start the stream, Google Chrome was not working on Underdog. I could not log into my account. So I have it up on Firefox right now, and I'm really kind of like itching to get it back on Chrome so that I can use the overlay and use it on the stream too, because it'd be like super fun. So yeah, I am I'm kind of just dealing with technical difficulties at the moment. I have no idea why that happens, what's going on, but it seemed to be happening to some other people too. Just I don't know why. So it's a Chrome browser issue. Potentially after this draft, what I'll do is I'll try to open Underdog on Chrome, and then for the next draft, run it on there and see if I can get it to show up. Definitely need a exposure check. Faded Najee until I knew where he was going to play next year. Got to chase him at the board. Yeah, that's a good point. He's got, I think, one of the better landing spots that he could have ended up in. Look at guys like Dobbins just doing so well in the Chargers in that role. You have Gus Edwards a few years ago having a lot of success, and so I think Najee could easily outperform what they did from maybe a yardage standpoint, a touchdown standpoint. It's always up in the air. I don't actually remember how many touchdowns total Dobbins had last season. Let me know if you've got that stat. But yeah, I think I was. I mean, my nausea exposure's come down a bit, but it was pretty high. It was like 24% earlier on. All right, McMillan goes. Was hoping he might be there. The other pick that I could consider taking was going to be Baker. Do I go with Baker, Bucky, and Godwin? I probably do. Ramondre might be the smart pick first in case the team on the turn doesn't have any running backs. I'm going to go Najee. I'm going to go Ramondre because Iron Lung doesn't have any running backs. If we look at his team, I doubt he would take Burrow and Mayfield, but we'll see. He definitely got kind of sniped on his setup for DJ Moore and Harrison. He's probably looking to take Purdy, is what I was thinking. So he might just reach up and grab Purdy with one of these selections. Worst case scenario, I can take a Darnell Mooney. Who else would I like here? He goes Baker Mayfield. Do you believe it? Like, what is this guy doing? Naked Baker Mayfield without a single chance of stacking him up except for Cade Otton. So you hate to see it. He must have fallen asleep, let it auto draft off the ADP or something. Who knows? What I'll do is I'm going to pivot. That's why I've got Justin Jefferson, though, and Hawkinson. I think that's honestly, I'll go for JJ later. It's probably a better fit. And the Godwin, Bucky Irving is fine as just team stack on its own. I can get Darnell Mooney here. I think it's a strong pick. Gives me an out with Penix, and he can always backstack Kyle Pitts. Also with Mooney, I get the same conference as the Bucks. Are there any running backs though that I really like here? It's like not really. Pacheco could be interesting. Etienne, Charbonnet. I've got a fair amount of those guys. I'm going to keep pushing it. Ramondre feels like my pick here. I'll just flag plant on Ramondre. I guess I could have gone Shaheed or maybe Diggs or even Kirk. I haven't clicked Kirk in quite a while, it feels like. One of my most exposed wide receivers was Christian Kirk. He goes to the Texans, and he just has been rising up the board. I think he's still a really good pick. I just don't have as much as I did earlier as well. It's kind of a similar thing to Najee. I think Najee and Kirk were my top two running back and wide receiver exposures early on, but could use some more maybe. Yeah, Dobbins was 1,059 touchdowns in 13 games. Pretty appetizing from a touchdown standpoint, not going to lie. Is he auto drafting? It appears so. And I mean, he did grab Purdy, so maybe he had just starred. Well, he couldn't have starred Purdy. I thought he was auto drafting. I didn't actually pay attention close enough to figure it out. It feels like he is auto drafting. The reason that the fact that he took Baker, but maybe he autoed Baker and then his phone buzzed again. He realized it, grabbed Purdy, and he's pissed right now that he has ruined his team with Baker. But I'll pivot there. I can continue on. I honestly didn't really want to take a QB in round 9, but I only was considering it for Baker. Asleep at the wheel. That's what I was thinking, Seth, Wabi. And appreciate you hanging out in the chat and saying what's up, my man. Hope you're having a really great Friday night. Looking forward to a good weekend. Some Masters coverage. We got NBA going on, MLB. I mean, it's all going on right now. Getting ready for draft season. I'm going to sit down this weekend and really read through a little bit more of The Beast from Dane Brugler. I started kind of dabbling into it, and I'm pretty excited about getting some time to sit down with a nice espresso and have a little quiet time and read through that. Maybe tomorrow morning, actually. It's probably the best chance I got to do it. So, and then got to catch up on maybe some podcasts with some draft talk. Things that are going to be like updated by tomorrow that are going to take into account this Derek Carr news, because I think the Derek Carr news is the biggest QB news we've heard for weeks, except for some of these landing spots, like, oh, Justin Fields goes to the Jets. We've known that for a while. Russell Wilson landing. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is assumed to be landing with the Steelers, but other than those kind of ones that we've known for a little while now, this Derek Carr stuff could be huge. I mean, next thing you know, he's out for the season, and I think they were trying to be a little bit protective of their draft. The Saints were trying to be protective of like their draft decision making and giving away their secrets, because this doesn't seem like a new injury. This is like lingering on from the end of last season. So that's pretty concerning, I would say. Really concerning if you've got any exposure to Carr, or if you've got him on your dynasty teams. I got cooked at QB with that run. Yeah, I keep forgetting to check in with your team, Hartman. You joined this. You joined the chat right as the stream was starting. Let me see what you got going on. So you started off with the Amon-Ra and AJ Brown. We talked about AJ Brown going off in the second round, Devontae, and then Hampton. So I love your start so far. Great wideouts, and then Hampton's fun. Got Waddle, Kamara, Ayuk, Downs, Justin Fields, and Njoku. Yeah, I think this is a great start. Let's see what you can do with your quarterbacks. It sucks that you got Jared Goff sniped. So Mason goes there. I would have taken Mason for sure on this build. I can take Drake May here, but I don't feel strongly about it. I'm always ending up with Swift, it looks like. I might go Pacheco just to mix it up. And then Love could be interesting. I can obviously push it because Iron Lung shouldn't take a fourth QB. I mean, maybe he'll screw us over. I mean, I'm just going to throw in at Pacheco. I don't draft a lot of Pacheco. And so let's see if that one pays off. Jordan Love. If I take Jordan Love, the problem is I'm not going to come back around for McCarthy. Let me go ahead and filter the QBs. McCarthy's at 134 ADP today. I mean, look, I was going to look up, try to push him to 143. It's a small risk where Addison went. So Addison went to... Where did Addison go? There he is. Lamar Jackson team. I'm gonna see if I can push JJ McCarthy to the next pick. Unless I've got nothing better, I might just keep DeAndre Swift on this team. Dobbs could still be there with my next pick. I think that's who I want. I think that's what I'm going to do. I haven't taken Trey Harris in a minute. And obviously, I mean, I could have, instead of going Pacheco Swift, I easily could have gone Tucker Kraft and Jordan Love. Maybe should have done that, because I don't have a whole lot of them together. I already had Jaden Reed, so that would have been a pretty sweet double stack to just nail it down, and I'll have to worry about now JJ coming back for my other double stack with the Vikings. We'll see how it plays out. What I'm going to do is queue up these QBs in this order, and then did Penix just go? Penix must have gone before my pick. I mean, this running back room is looking pretty strong for those four running backs. You could argue that these three guys are going to be, maybe replaced or in a timeshare. Bucky might even be in a little timeshare himself, but I feel like those are strong offenses. Well, I guess the Patriots aren't a strong offense. Maybe they're on the come up. The Bears should also be kind of, a better offense. Yeah, Penix obviously went the pick before me. So Iron Lung, I have no idea what this guy's doing. He's taken 4 quarterbacks and 2 of them completely unstacked. So this room's probably a little bit pissed about that because the quarterbacks are trying up. Fun also grabbed his 3rd quarterback in a row, going Goff, Herbert, and Love. That is going to dry up the room a little bit. Interesting. Kraft Love duo and be done at both. Yeah, Hartman, I should have peeked over. I should have peeked over at that. I like I said, it would have been good. I think what threw me off was not getting Jordan Mason and then just feeling like I could hammer some of this mid-round value at running back that I skipped out on a little bit earlier. The 11 spot, this team is... So this is the BTJ team with McCaffrey and Kyren. Like we said, he had the Josh Allen and Olave, Chuba Hubbard. It's a little bit RB heavy if you're going to pick McCaffrey. A lot RB heavy. But he got the value with Olave, and then he kept hammering RBs. Tracy, Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, Bigsby, and Kelsey. So this guy, Beal, is a 1-7-3-1 build. This team is so dead. You'd need a miracle to pull that off. I mean, maybe you can do it just because you've got Josh Allen to carry you through and McCaffrey if they both hit. But, I mean, what are you going to do with all these other running backs? They're not even going to get flexed. There's going to be just dead roster spots. And then your wide receivers, QJ is kind of a nice grab for him there, I will say. But not a lot of structure to that team. Interesting. It's a weird room. This room's completely badged up, and there's some weird things going on with Ironlung and Beal. And then JJ McCarthy does go to the Addison drafter. So we got screwed on that one. I'm fine with it though. I as long as I have Jalen Hurts, it doesn't matter so much who my QB2 is. Literally anyone could work. And what I can do at this turn, I can reach a little bit and make something come together with I would take Goddard here just to get my little skinny stack on the tight end spot. So let's hope that he's there. That's kind of nice. I don't think it's a Cam Ward team. Could be Bryce Young. I might just keep pushing it though, and then end up taking a rookie quarterback late and going really bold with it. Although I do kind of like Thielen here. So I'm gonna grab Dallas Goedert. I think that's obviously a good move. What up, Aaron? How you doing, my man? Hope you're having a great Friday night. Pat lurking in the chat, always out here somewhere. Fun stream tonight, man. Hope you're having a good Friday as well. Oh, Pat, if you're still in here, I was just mentioning I've got the best ball overlay, and my Chrome is crashed. I had it all set up, ready to go. And Underdog, it's literally just Underdog, is timing out on me. I can't log into Underdog on my Chrome, so I had to fire up my Firefox browser. That's what I'm streaming right now. But after this draft, I'm going to see if I can refresh Chrome, get Underdog started up, and then I've got the best ball overlay because I was really excited to be showing off some of my exposures and talking about those. So coming very, very soon to the stream, some best ball overlay action. Yeah, don't give it away. And then with this pick, maybe Thielen. Yeah, I would not call that optimal. Maybe Thielen here. Maybe Leggett. Maybe Cedric. I could take another receiver. Let's go look at ADP real quick. I don't think there's any obvious picks with my team build unless I'm just going to call it a day and take a QB here. Let me grab Thielen. I think having Mooney, Thielen, and then the Bucky and Godwin is kind of fun for my divisional correlation a little bit. And then son of a Bryce Young literally goes the next pick. So not really hitting on the QB luck in this draft. I didn't think he'd come back around. He rarely does, but there was a chance. I just didn't see it coming from Devon, that he already had Drake May. I guess he was getting screwed on the QB run. He missed out on Tua as why. But then he went Keenan Allen. I don't. Why wouldn't you grab? He didn't take Leggett or Coker or Thielen, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Let me do that. I'll do that too. I actually had that problem. I actually had that problem with Underdog all weekend long for like the last 5 or 6 days. I've had a problem with logging into Underdog on Chrome. We were trying to address it on stream a few nights ago, and I cleared my cache and I was like doing all these things. I think Putt Daddy was in here trying to help me out with it, and some of the other bros. And I was actually talking to them on support on Discord and actually in the app earlier today, and they've got something going on. It's not happening with everyone, but in the Chrome browser specifically, they've got some location issues, and they've got like a login issue. It times out, and then what happens also was showing up earlier this week on stream was I'd finish a draft and then it would never load and get me back to the lobby, and it would just kind of like time out and give me the woof error. So yeah, I think you're right though. I'll go ahead and clear the cache and then I'll pull up because I'm going to do one more draft after this for sure, and I definitely want to get back on Google Chrome and show off the overlay. Send him a bill for the service call, Pat. Hey, get out of here with that. Excited to see the expos. Yeah, they're coming along. This is draft 61 on the big board. I've got that biggest board, that bigger board, and then I went ahead and maxed the little board. So I'm not too deep into the big board. I was hoping to get at least 50 big boards before the draft. I'm probably going to get closer to 75, 80. Interesting. Yeah, well, what support told me earlier today was they were working on it. So they were working on this issue. So I definitely wasn't the first person to contact them about it. Hopefully they've made some changes. I think it should be pretty quick. Wow, look at this run at running backs that's going along. I'm almost up. Sam Darnold goes, but I don't think I would have done anything there with Darnold on this team. 1-4-6-2 with Jalen Hurts. I can take some liberty to grab either a running back or a wide receiver. At pick 167, 170, there are really no QBs I want to get. I could do let my dog in the room real quick and make this pick. My dog wanted to come make this pick with us. She's in the room. So I could do Anthony Richardson. I don't take a lot of Richardson. If I'm looking at ADP, he's there, and then I backstack him. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I think there's more upside potentially with Richardson than some of these other rookies, although he's a complete mess. So it's really just because I don't take a lot of Richardson. He's easy to backstack, and then I don't have to worry about these rookie QBs and where they land. The other thing is, if you think about the teams that and yeah, I know Best Ball Overlay was so easy to set up. It's an underdog problem for sure. If you think about the teams that the rookie quarterbacks are going to go to, it's like maybe the Steelers, probably not. Maybe the Steelers, maybe the Saints, definitely the Giants, and we think Cleveland. And I don't have a single one of those players on this squad, and so it was just not looking great to take. I mean, I could have gone Tillman, I guess. He was always there if I'm going to go, but I think Tillman is going to lose some snaps if that's where they end up going with Travis Hunter, of course. So then hadn't I mean, this is pretty far ahead for Mitchell. Mitchell will be there on the way back. So let me grab Pierce right around ADP. That puts me, though, I'm I'm at 7 wide receivers. Okay, I'm still in a good spot to maybe get AD if he comes back around. I'll cue that one up so I don't forget. Yeah, I mean, part of me hates picking Colts players just because it's not really a great offense, not a great team. Downs was already gone. Pittman's already gone. How much playing time are Pierce and Mitchell going to get with those two guys ahead of them in an offense that doesn't pass all that much? So it's a bit risky. But on the other hand, I mean, last year in a 2024 build, you'd love to have Hurts and Richardson, tons of rushing upside, and then just all of these wide receivers that are paired up, except for Pierce, with pocket passers. So the goal of this draft was to take an elite QB, line them up with as many receivers that have more of a pocket passer QB. Obviously, McCarthy can run a little bit. I think Bryce Young, he's not immobile, but Penix, Love, Baker, Burrow, really, really, if you're going to beat the teams that are stacked with those QBs and these players, you're going to need potentially an elite QB to do it. Flip back to the board now. I wouldn't be surprised, if there's a huge gap now before the next QB is taken too. So it feels like the end of maybe a new tier where, hey, now after this, it's the uncertain QBs, it's the rookie QBs left. Now that Carr is out of the mix, and Stafford and Geno are way gone by now. Could do AR and dimes. I've heard of that. I'm not as interested particularly in doing it. I think if I'm going to go Richardson, I need him so infrequently. It's literally one bye week and then any other spike week he can have. I don't figure that I'd actually lean into him. So I might not even stack him with another receiver. I might just stay at Pierce. And even if Mitchell gets sniped, it might be smart not to stack him up too much, because I'm really hoping that Hurts is producing every week in and week out for me. Russell Wilson goes. I think he's potentially. I mean, does Richardson get benched? Maybe. Does Wilson get benched? Maybe. Kind of similar. Maybe they're in a closer tier. It's just the youth and the rushing upside with Richardson's more attractive to me. Although Russell Wilson's almost certainly going to pass for more yards and throw more touchdowns, I would probably bet on that, game for game. Probably go one more tight end, just because I feel like I've got a really solid wide receiver group and my running backs aren't too shabby either. But I'm due for a running back. Definitely eyeballing some rookie names. Martinez is already off the board. He's a guy I like. Giddens way gone, but him and Harvey. Make this pick, and because I'm starting to think twice about double stacking up Anthony Richardson, I might not do it just because I don't really want that much exposure to the Colts on this team. Harold Fannin could be a fun pick. I've got a decent amount. I think I'm at about 14% on Fannin, Mason Taylor, and even a little bit less than that, maybe 12% on Arroyo. But I've gotten some of these rookie tight ends. Okay, Mitchell goes the pick before me, so it makes it easier for me to decide. Running back wise, I might just go with Rashad Smith here. It's a little bit early, but we're at that point in the draft where it's get your guys. I think Will Shipley will still be there later on if I want to get another running back too. That gives me a team stack with the Eagles. So I'm gonna just hope that Shipley will come back around to pick to 215. I think that's fair. If he goes before, then I'm not really gonna be broken up about it. Actually, I kind of like Kyle Williams on this team. That could be a fun upside pick. I would finish it there. Um, who else for Philly? It's Dotson as a late pick. Okay, Kyle Williams goes. That opens me up for Dotson later. I think I will take Harold Fannin here and take a swing at some upside. I honestly could stop with just those two tight ends. So at the same time, what else is there here on the board that I might want to grab? Ideally, it would be a high upside player that I could flex. Getting Rashard Smith there is kind of nice. Let me grab Fannin. Haven't clicked his name in a few drafts. And then Shedeur goes. Interesting. Okay. Definitely. Yeah. And I take a good amount of Mitchell on just teams in general, sprinkling him in as one of those spike week guys is going to catch either a red zone pass or like a long bomb. So I totally get that sentiment. That could be a way to play it. The fact that it gets taken right before me, I'm not going to sweat it out though. I'm just going to stick with Pierce on this one. I am trying to draft players on good teams, good players on good teams, try to slightly fade the worst teams. But at least I got my little skinny stack. And I don't think there's any other Colts that I want. So we'll keep it there. Appreciate y'all being in the stream tonight and chatting it up, talking through these picks. We'll see if we can build this super team that I put in the thumb. With Jalen Hurts, you've always got a shot. And then these receivers are pretty stacked. Let's check in with Hartman's team, see how he's doing. He got Jack Besh with his last pick. I like that one. Got some value at ADP on Jalen Wright, Rashad White, Marshawn Lloyd. I remember you were mentioning you like Marshawn Lloyd in this range earlier this week. That's a name you brought up. Definitely, if I had pulled the trigger, and now looking back, I definitely should have pulled the trigger on Jordan Love and Kraft when I had the chance at that turn. Knowing what I know now, I would have definitely wanted to add Marshawn Lloyd later in the draft. So I think it's a pretty savvy pick. I was overexposed to Marshawn Lloyd last season. Unfortunately, I want to say it was either 18 or 20% Marshawn Lloyd. So that one hurt. I think he's a talented guy to USC. Potentially, can bounce back this season. So let's see how that fits. Okay, so this team in the 11th spot. Let's go back to this team. I'm going to pull it up over here. Beal, 2762 with Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. Oh, that was Archgoat Omega who took Rodgers, actually. I was going to say. So did he save the team? I don't know. He hasn't stacked. It looks like he hasn't stacked a single player except for having 3 Jaguars. Really hard to follow this one. Or wait a second. Was that I guess he's got Wandale with Russell, but that's it's a crazy team. 2772. Maybe he pulls it off. Not sure. Looks kind of weird. And then Iron Lung here going with 4 quarterbacks. Yeah. Shipley goes. Not the end of the world. Honestly, I was overexposed to Shipley last season too. Didn't really pay off. Yeah, it would have been hard to see that QB run. I think all of us in the room were a little bit surprised. Ready for Lloyd to hurt me again. He probably will. Josh Jacobs, the guy is undeniable. That's a player who I need to do a highlight reel for, Josh Jacobs. Speaking of highlight reels, did somebody say Ashton Genty in the chat? A little bit of Genty hype. I'm a sucker for a good stiff arm. That's what gets me every time. Those Genty stiff arms are diabolical. I mean, he's throwing people down to the turf, and they're not getting back up for another play or two. Dotson, I'm going to go ahead and click him for the correlation. I like Horton a lot. I'm on Horton. I think I'm going to end up with 9 receivers. Is that what I want to do? We'll see. I don't know if my running back room is strong enough to stop at 5, but because I'm going 2 QB, I mean, unless I do take a Dart, a Jones, or a Milrow, I'm going to stick with 2. I think that's the right move. So because I'm going 2 QB, I'm going to go with 9 receivers, probably 6 running backs. I think 6 will be fine here. Let me know what you guys think. If this is more of a 6 running back or a 7 running back room. Because running back wise, I like Jordan James. Spoke too soon. Iron Lung has been really messing this draft up for me. I mean, he doesn't know it, but I like Hunter. I like James. Kendre's fine. I like Kendre just fine. I don't know if he fits on this team though. Raheem Sanders is kind of fun. Got a lot of him. Could do some Taj. I'm just noticing that I think I'm going to go Horton. Yeah, Horton's a fun click for me. Add him to this team. Steve Smith, Sr., actually posted a video, his commentary on Torrey Horton today. I haven't checked it out, but I saw that he posted it and liked it. I'm going to go back. I bookmarked it to go back to check that one out because I think Steve Smith's pretty good with football IQ, route running. You know, he's scouting out these receivers. I think he's onto something. So I'm going to take his word. And if he likes Torrey Horton, I think it's a name to keep on my watch list. A lot of these running backs are going to fall back anyways, but it was Jaden Blue was already gone before my last pick. So obviously a guy that I like and would have picked him at that spot potentially over Horton. Blue was long gone. Blue goes 197. So you love to see it. He's getting steamed up a little bit. I think he's super talented. Flip back to the board. Check in with Hartman's team and see what he's saying. He goes Njoku, Loveland, Tua, and Stafford. So he got his 3 QBs. Did a good job stacking with Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle for your Tua stack. So I like that. That's how Wright comes in. You get some Wright's kind of been falling. I don't know what's up. Madison's there. Is Madison a veteran that can take snaps away from Wright? Maybe. I think Wright's pretty talented, but he didn't get a lot of work last year, which was interesting. There goes Taj Brooks to Hartman's team. I think it's a good pick. Noah Gray, that's not a player you see go every day anymore, at least. He does seem pretty good. I think he's worth a first-round pick this year. When I have Hero right now, I tend to lean towards 6. Yeah, I think 6 feels fine on this team. I was building some 5 running back Hero teams last year in Best Ball Mania where there's 18 rounds, right? But I remember doing Hero builds with plenty of those guys that go early on. And if that's where we're taking Bucky now, the second round, you can definitely build a Hero build with just Bucky. I think so too. And at least betting on Ramondre and Pacheco to just
have the ability to get a touchdown here and there. Could be. I mean, they've been taking running backs pretty consistently. That would be interesting. It'd be a great landing spot. Okay, Jalen Nailor goes to the team that took McCarthy away from me. I don't know. I have not been drafting Jalen Nailor. Okay, seriously, what's going on with this last round? I understand Gabe Davis. Isaac Tesla, you're going to have to explain that one to me, Hartman. Ben Sinnott, I don't get that pick. Jameis pick, I don't really get. The Nailor pick, I'm not on with. Kendre's fine. Kirk, I don't know. I'm not really on with it. Rocket Sanders is cool. Amari, I guess, if you still believe. Malik, I'm not really on with it, but I guess, some Miami correlation. I could go Dart. I'm pretty convinced I'm gonna stick with the quarterbacks that I got. Dart could be a good pick though. I just think with Jalen Hurts, I don't even need Dart. And then AR. So I'm gonna take ETN here. As far as the remaining rookie running backs go, I think he's got the best chance to go. Sneak into day 2. Even if he's around 4 or 5 running back, maybe there's something there. And that's the squad. Not a whole lot of rookies on this one, but a fun one. 2693. I'm gonna leave it up to the chat to decide if we've made a super team or not. We might have flubbed it by not getting Love or McCarthy and having to go with AR. Yeah, this one wraps up a 4.672 for Iron Lung. He kind of messed it up there a little bit. Look at Tesla player profile, athletic freak rookie, and he's huge. Yeah. Remind me where he went to school again. Was he the guy? He's the guy from Arkansas, wasn't he? He's the guy from Arkansas. I do remember him a little bit. Maybe we can pull that up as I fix the Chrome browser for the next draft. So we wrap up this big board. And then also I will look at Hartman's team too, since he was kind enough to join us on this Friday night and jump into this draft. So maybe about, let's say, 5 or so minutes until the next big board starts. But let me do a quick little jumping in. See. Got 9 votes on the mega stream. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to doing something. Got a subscriber goal for 100 subscribers. You got to start somewhere. And so I think, I could definitely pull kind of an all-nighter, do like a 4-hour mega stream. Maybe it'll be at the end of getting into the end of the next couple of weeks, getting into the NFL draft. Maybe it's with some big boards, or maybe it's the night that BBM drops. I'm kind of looking forward to that too. I think that could pair up really nicely. So BBM drops, I do a 4-hour mega stream, draft 4 or 5, probably Best Ball Mania teams right when it drops. Is something I think I want to do. So that could be cool. Be on the lookout for that one. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for being here. Let's review the final team. And I want you guys in the chat, be honest with me. Is this a super team or did we miss out? 2693 build, Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson at QB. So I'm taking the position that I don't really need Anthony Richardson. I'm going to ride out Jalen Hurts most weeks. Bucky, Ramondre, a little bit of value on Pacheco there, a little bit of value for Swift. I still like Swift. Rashard Smith out of SMU, Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. Could those be the rookies you need? I think the running back room's fair. I don't think it's amazing. It's definitely not, double tap, top of the board type of RB room. But everyone likes Bucky, so that could work in my favor. Look at his smile. How do you not love this guy? Great hair. Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Godwin, Jaden Reed. That feels like a combination of 4 wide receivers you would have loved to have had last year in 2024. Top it off with Mooney, Thielen, Pierce, Dotson, Horton. So I'm looking for guys that can, kind of in this group, that can give me those big touchdown games. Going to be a 2-touchdown game. And then Horton's a fun upside pick. Hawk, got him. The team correlation with Jefferson. I got Dallas Goddard stacked, and then Harold Fannin for an upside pick. Yeah, we'll pull up Tesla too. Like your squad overall, Hurts should carry QB room solid every position. Appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and call it myself. I don't think it's a super team. I think we got to try again. I think this is a good team. I think this is a team that you wouldn't be surprised to see somebody else draft. I think this is a team that many people are going to have. And, if Jalen Hurts is the quarterback you got to have, if Jefferson and Higgins and maybe a combo with Godwin are some of the receivers you have to have, this could be a team that gets us through in those advancing playoff weeks. So I think it's a good team. I think it's a team worth monitoring. I don't think it's a super team. Let's go ahead and check out Hartman's team. Vinny D's in here. Okay. Hartman goes 3, 6, 8, 3. The Justin Fields, Tua, Stafford group. I like that because you're taking your rushing QB with 2 pocket passers. Check what Putt Daddy says. Probably would have left Dotson since you got Goddard in a single stack. That's true. And then went with another RB. Good team, though. Yeah, I think that could have been interesting. Just one more dart throw for a rookie running back. I could have taken a Sanders. I could have taken, a few other guys. So I think that's a good tip. Maybe lean a little bit more into these rookie running backs. Such a deep class. We know that Hartman was able to stack up Stafford and Tua. Let's see what else he was able to do. Hampton, a great pick. Kamara's fun. White, I think, is fair. Don't love it, don't hate it, especially since I have Bucky in this one. But in general, Jalen Wright, I'm skeptical of, but it's a good team stack. You got the value. Lloyd, I know is one of your guys, so I like that pick. And then Taj Brooks, I think, is a good pick. To me, this running back room, Kamara's holding on. He's the anchor. Derek Carr is going to be out for the season. Let's find out. They're going to lean on Alvin Kamara, and maybe the quarterback they get to replace Carr isn't bad enough where the offense just sucks as a whole. Then Kamara is really the engine of the offense. That could be really fun. A lot of check down passes from maybe some new QB learning the ropes. I'm interested to see, where do you think Hampton goes? Interested to see that one play out. That's a good pick. This wide receiver room, I think, has got it all. This is one you're going to like to get you through the playoff weeks. You got Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, super strong. Waddle's been a second-round pick, a third-round pick. Adams has been a second-round pick in previous years, right? Brown, Amon-Ra, that's a duo. I love those 1-2 punch wide receiver duos. That's kind of what I did with Jefferson and T. You did it here with Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown. So building around those guys, you got sniped on Goff. I remember that during the draft. That kind of sucks for you, but I think you made up for it with your QB room and then getting Ayuk, Downs, and then you waited a long time. So you got a really strong wide receiver room and you played it right. You waited to the very end. You got a guy like upside guy like a Jack Besh out of TCU, Isaac Tesla. I want to say he's a Arkansas Razorback. Pretty sure that's who that is. Njoku, Loveland, Higbee, so a little stacked QB tight end pair, and then the Loveland upside. Njoku's always good. Shouldn't be injured this season, we'd hope. I like it. Yeah, Shipley with Hurts is a backdoor I like to get. I thought so too. I probably could have taken Shipley instead of going with Dawson where I did. So let me do something. I guess I can. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to throw in some music. Do 1 second to check out if I can get my Chrome browser restarted. Paul, loud. Turn it down just a bit. RB. Yeah, I like your RB, though. If Hampton hits, that's all you need, baby. Let me see if I can... I'm curious how this is going to work. If I'm open, I can clear out my cache. Okay. Okay. This should work. I'm just clearing my cache real quick. I'm going to fire up another Chrome tab, see if I can get logged into Underdog on that one, and then fire up a draft with my best ball overlay working. Underdog's had some technical difficulties, so blame Underdog. The draft we just did was on Firefox, and so let me take a crack at that. Appreciate y'all being here and hanging and drafting tonight. We got one more big board coming up real soon. We're close. Real close. Okay. Will it work? Here's the moment of truth, and then I'll throw it on the stream if I can get it to work. Come on now. It's working. This is gonna be sick. I'm totally stoked. Logging in over and over again to different logins. We're almost there. Yes, yes. Oh. Hell yeah, let's go. I'm gonna test this out. Yes, it's working. Let's get in here. Okay, sweet. Goodbye, Firefox. How's that looking? Let me jump back in here, see what's going on. The buildup is wild. I feel in my bones. Turn the music back down. We're in here. We got the best ball overlay, the best overlay in the game loaded up. It's time for a big board draft. My first big board draft with the overlay in here. Excited to check it out. Here we go. I'll give you a slow countdown since I pulled it up so quickly. It took us a long pause. Get back in here. Let's draft this one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. And it worked. Waiting on 2. Maybe you're already in the room. You probably clicked join as I started counting down. Hope you can get in if there's one spot left. If not, appreciate you being here and chilling anyways. But yeah, okay, perfect timing. One spot left. It fills up. I think we did it. All right. Man, it really brings to light how much I don't get Chase. I don't get Barkley. And then look at this Bijan. Oh, I need to take Bijan this draft. So I'm going to go ahead and queue him up. I'm not going to have a chance, though, in the 7 spot. Hate to see it. That's crazy. Completely missing out on Bijan. I'm going to get left behind on that one. I'm going to get disowned. The other thing, I'm going to bring up Isaac Tesla real quick. Isaac Tesla. Is that showing up? Yeah, it's pretty good. Could be better. What you can't see is that he's 6, or maybe you can see it. He's 6'4", 214. He went to Arkansas. I did remember that about him. He's a little on the older side. He's fast. He's a fast guy. He's bursty. Pretty bad college target share. I do remember that offense spreading it around. So that's not, you don't love to see that. His dominator's good though. Breakout age is actually good. So he stuck around. Interesting stuff. Could be a day 3 pick to look out for. Isaac Tesla. Very cool. Thanks for putting us on that one, Hartman. We're in. Good luck, fellas. Yeah, let me know. Okay, I see Wobby's in here. Hell yeah. Appreciate you joining the draft. Cleanest user interface in the overlay game. I think so too. And then okay. I needed to well, I'm not sure if I needed to click something or load it before, but my player combo, the player combo, if Pat's still in here, maybe he can give me some free free support on pulling up the player combo piece of it. But I was looking at that earlier when I had it in here. Yeah, well, I mean, how sweet. Pat's here. Okay. Pat, how do I pull up my player combos? I'd love to see that after I make this pick. So I'm going to go ahead and take Brian Thomas because no Brian Thomas. I need to get some Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas has been drafted. Probably a terrible example because now I've got a player that I haven't really been drafting. And so I don't really have any combos with him, but press the refresh. Okay, word. Let's do that. Oh, you've already mentioned that. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, bad combination because I could have sworn I've drafted Brian Thomas. Maybe I haven't. I could have sworn I've drafted Brian Thomas. Maybe it's in the little board and this is just my big board exposure. That could be something. That could be it. Potentially. What up, boys? Let's get it. So who else we got in here? Let me zoom in a bit too. I messed up my zoom when I switched browsers. Make it easier for y'all to see. Does that look good? That looks pretty good. Probably keep it there. We got Wobby the man himself. I don't recognize Nerf, but that's a pretty standout name. ATX Broncos. I do recognize I recognize ATX Bearcats. Myself, I don't know. Not sure who else we got in here. Looks like it's me and Wobby. Yes, yeah, I do remember that. I ran it earlier and it auto went through all of my drafts and added the guys to it. So I think that's what it did. I also downloaded my CSV from Underdog, but I didn't have to end up using it because it ran through my teams. It was showing me some combinations earlier before I started the stream. I was looking at my CeeDee Lamb combinations. I'm pretty sure it was working. A.J. Brown McConkey. Wobby starts off with Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas. Okay, considering I apparently haven't taken any big boards, I also haven't taken a chance, so that could be fun. Getting 2 players, I haven't taken any of it all together. You think of Trevor Lawrence and Tua kind of going in a similar range. Give myself some outs I could do for that. I think that's fun. Let me go ahead and do that one because I've got a fair amount of Drake London. And I kind of want to go, if I'm going to build a super team, I could do maybe a hero build around Achane, Brian Thomas. Be possible to get ETN later, which I like ETN. And then I could also do something if I don't get Waddle with Jonnu. Could be an option for this team. Yeah, Pat, I think I did. I followed your tutorials on the website on the instructions, so I think I got it set up right. Maybe if I So then for Brian Thomas, I guess, do I need to go here? And then how do I get it to show for Achane? Is the question. Maybe I refresh again. Let's try that. Quick refresh anyways. Hell yeah. Okay, well, that's the actual same problem because apparently, according to the overlay, don't have any Achane on these big boards. Well, this is funny because then it's bringing in little board exposure too. I think I just messed it up. I think it's on my end. I think I do need to update it because I know for a fact I've gotten Josh Jacobs. There's no way I don't have any Josh Jacobs teams. I was going to say I was a little bit surprised that BTJ didn't show up and Achane didn't show up. I mean, there's definitely some of these other players showing up, so it's not completely messed up my exposures. I just need to fix it on my end. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I feel that. I feel that. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. I mean, potentially, I probably could open up another instance of Underdog and do that. Let me see if I can do that midstream. I'll make let me flip back to the board, give you all an update. I'll make another pick or two, and then I'm going to try to see if I can update and put my CSV in between picks. Yeah, T-Law and Strange. I got to remember to look for Strange too because he's a guy I was drafting early on when he was a tight end 3 in the 200s range, and I haven't been taking him a lot lately. So definitely need to do that. Yeah, T-Law and Strange. I'm going to be on the lookout for those 2 picks. That's what's up. Bottom left corner settings tool, you can upload and pick tournaments it's showing. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what's up. Dude, I'm an idiot. I, for some reason, thought that was the actual Underdog settings. Don't know why. That's where I'll do it then. Sweet. Okay, so Wabi goes Jefferson, Bucky, and DJ Moore. I like that start. DJ Moore's fun because you get the NFC North correlation. It's a pretty fun one. Worthy goes pick 30. Not crazy, but as I'm looking at this board for a super team at pick 31, Josh Allen fits the bill. Could be a Josh Allen team. Otherwise, Adams is kind of a fun pick. McLaurin could be nice. I'm going to go McLaurin because I never get the chance to attempt a McLaurin Daniel stack, and I've been trying to get this now for weeks. So fingers crossed in this one for me. I'm almost certain it's not going to work out in my favor, but you never know. Maybe the room's going to let him fall to me. If I can get Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, to me, that's the start of a super team. We'll see if it works out. It's not looking good. It's not looking good when Josh Allen and Lamar go in the 3rd round versus the 4th. Sweating on this one. Who else would be great for a highlight clip? I think Jaden Daniels' rookie year highlights would be fun. Clip that one. Put that in the little media basket. Yeah, good luck in here for Wabi. So the powerful start with CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Xavier Worthy. That's a fun 3 receiver start. Everyone else has pretty much gone more of the 2 receiver, 1 running back, or vice versa, except for Nerf in the 1 spot. Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson. I think that's a pretty strong start too. It's hard to make the teams look bad this early on, but I'm seeing some nice builds. Okay, wow. And then real T Lloyd 5 with the 4 receiver start. It's a classic 0 RB start from last year with the addition of the sophomores McConkey and Harrison. which last year you would have had to get Harrison at the 13 pick and McConkey much later on. So honestly, I think I like that start. You get the AJ Brown in the first round is pretty good too. I don't mind that. Considering it looks like we pushed the running backs a little bit, Genty went much later on. Speaking of Ashton Genty, let me make this pick and then I'll roll the Genty clip. Let me know if you're getting tired of it, but I'm pretty obsessed with it right now. Okay, things are looking good. Unless the Josh Allen team just we did it. We finally did it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment I've been waiting for I'm going to say 3 weeks since I've been able to stack Jayden Daniels with Terry McLaurin. So it feels really nice. This is definitely the start of a super team. We've got a super sophomore, rookie of the year, breakout QB, Heisman winner, and Terry McLaurin, who's had his best career year with his new quarterback. So we're going to keep that rolling. Brian Thomas looks like, what are the comps for Brian Thomas? Who starts their career that hot? It's a short list. Malik Neighbors did something similar. Puka's done something similar. Brian Thomas is dominating those targets. Who else is in Jacksonville to take the targets away from him? So healthy year from Trevor Lawrence, even though I think if you look at the splits, Brian Thomas did just as well with when Trevor Lawrence was out, actually. So maybe that gives you some more confidence that he is quarterback proof. I'm going to roll this Genty clip and then also try to upload my CSV at the same time. So I'll see you on a second. Roll the damn clip. Let's do it. At the same time, I just realized I had the CSV sent to me and I never actually downloaded it from my email. So I'm doing that at the minute. Okay, here we go. So let me do that real quick before my next pick too. I'm not going to roll the media again, but I'm just going to... Yeah, let me do that real quick off stream. You don't know what's in these folders. There's a lot of highlight clips that I'm still working on that I don't want y'all to see in these folders. So, and it's almost my pick. Let me... Okay, I think I did it super quick. I think that works. I'm going to go ahead and share the board again. Boom. Boom. Updated. Refresh. Cool. I think it worked. Because this looks a lot more accurate to what I would expect on my team. Hell yeah. Okay, sweet. I figured it out. It was my issue the whole time. Jayden Daniels, 10%. Achane, 2.7%. So it's not far off. Brian Thomas, 3.6. You know, it must have been looking at just the big or the little board or maybe the combination. I don't know. And then McLaurin, 6. So I'm getting different. These are players I have not been drafting enough of. And shout out to Best Ball Overlay for hooking it up with this sweet overlay, helping me figure out what exposures I need to get right before this thing closes. I don't want to be left out there without Brian Thomas, that's for sure. Wabi gets Hampton at 46. You dog. And Godwin, I like the pick. I like Godwin there. Okay, if I'm going to build a super team, I've already got my super stack. Is Olave part of a super team, or is Henderson part of a super team? Got a lot of Henderson, got probably too much Olave. Go to ADP, grab Addison here or Waddle, and Waddle is a pick that I should take because I don't have enough Waddle either, and I'm already leaning into the Dolphins. The Dolphins have done me right. I mean, some of my best teams I've ever drafted have had Dolphins on them back in the day. So let's keep going. You'd like to have Jalen Waddle be your wide receiver 4, but at the expense of getting an elite QB, I think it's worth it. I still believe in Waddle. So this is great. I'm really taking a team that of all these players I don't have a ton of exposure to. I'm below the field. Let's see what y'all are up to. I've been ignoring the chat. Yeah. Oh, I'm way behind. Let me catch up. Strange that in round 15 to 17 area, depending on the room. Yeah, I think that's a good place to look for him. I'll keep my eye peeled for Strange. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty aware of ETN going. You're right. It is Strange who gets away from me, I think, in general. Demont has some sick highlight clips. I love his highlights. And he had that crazy run last year, I think, for Seahawks. I'll look into that. It'd be hilarious is what I'll do is I'll clip the like broadcast, or maybe it was an ESPN segment where they were like talking about David Montgomery Frankenstein style. And I'm never going to remember the players they comped him to, but they were like, he has the arms of this player, the legs of that player, the agility of this guy, the speed of that guy. And when Demont was coming into the league as a rookie, they were comping him to like every best current running back at that time. It was probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, probably 7 years ago. How long has Montgomery been in the league? So he had his rookie deal. He's played 2 years in the Lions, if I'm right, 2 years. So he's going into his 7th year. That'd be a really fun one. Montgomery's got some sick clips. Might be brewing, I think so. RB's going to get thin quick for the 12 spot. Yeah, he pulls it off, though. That Henderson-James Conner is not a bad combo. Henderson is the guy I would have loved to fall back to 66. Easily could have got him there a week or two ago. Not anymore. Some overlay voodoo right there to get that stacked. Super team in progress. Hell yeah. All right, we're doing it. We're drafting the super team. We'll see if this team starts to like really pick up some momentum. We'll have to throw on some hype music to get it going. Okay. Pick 66 and could be Judkins, could be Ridley, could be Debo for the double stack. Notice the best ball overlay doing me a favor there, highlighting who I should be taking. How are you going to pass on Debo when you got the Terry, Daniels, Debo double stack? Not only have I not pulled off the McLaurin stack, I pulled off Debo alone, but the double stack. I think that's the way to go. Anchoring it with Achane. I love Judkins. There's a smallest chance in the world he comes back. But to be a super team, we're going to have to get ahead of the ADP a little bit in some spots where Judkins has been going in the 70s, 80s, and maybe 90s like all season. So all off season. So there's other teams that are going to have Judkins in better spots than I'm going to be able to get him now. Maybe Judkins goes to the Commanders with one of their early picks. Maybe who knows? The Commanders got some pretty early draft capital besides the first round where they're like pick 23 or so. Highlight clips. Hey, Green Bean. I'm so far behind on y'all. Got to catch up. No Olave. See, I read it out of the corner of my eye. I know you were hating on Olave. We're going to let Olave fall. This is not a super team. That's sick. Cooking up. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that. I like how your team's looking too, Wobbs. Keep it going. For Demont, it was footwork of Saquon, the vision of Le'Veon Bell, the strength of Zeke, the athleticism of Sony Michel. Shout out to Sony Michel. I mean, all of those guys. I mean, besides Saquon, none of those guys are in the league. Maybe Zeke is. We'll see where he lands up. This could be awesome. Let's fucking go. Let's do it. This is going to be the super team. I can feel it. It's an anchor build. Like, of course, Brian Thomas is a sexy pick. You pull up Brian Thomas and people go, ooh, This guy knows ball. Got the double stack. Waddle. Debo as a wide receiver 4, I will say, feels fine. Debo as a wide receiver 2 in the year 2025 feels pretty whack. But I'll take a risk with a 6th-round pick. You can dud out on your 6th-round pick and still your team can survive. So a little bit of value for Wob there with Jaden Reed. So Golden, Burden, Tet, or T-Mac to the 1 spot. That looks pretty similar to the team I was building last night with Tyler on stream. I think we started off with T-Mac, Golden. I don't know that we had Burden, though. It might have been Egbuka. Emeka might be a fit for this squad here. Speaking of Ohio State wide receivers, considering we've got, not that it matters, but we've got McLaurin already. Hunter or Egbuka. The problem with going Hunter is if he's this, obviously I want him. He could be the pick of the year. If Hunter is the pick of the year, he's already on so many teams that got him in the 200s, the 150s, all those other ranges. Okay, actually, I kind of wanted Harris there. Y'all were hyping him up so much in the last draft. I was kind of hoping Harris would be there. Hunter goes, makes the decision easier for me. There's not a chance in hell I'm taking Khalil Shakir. We don't have a tight end on this squad. I think it'd be a reach to take tight end right now. Hawkinson doesn't make a lot of sense. Check the chat for a last comment. Debo's good. Could be bounced back. It's not just Olave hate. It's all of the Saints this year. Okay, so Egbuka. Welcome to the squad. And then, Caleb Johnson. People hate Aaron Jones. I don't think he's going to fit on a super team given the situation and the red zone situation with Jordan Mason, right? So probably not a Jones team. Caleb Johnson, kind of a black box, could be good. I haven't watched a lot of Caleb Johnson. He's the rookie running back I know the least about. So let me know if y'all feel strongly about Caleb Johnson. Could be the pick. Otherwise, I'm into Pollard. I love clicking Pollard here. I'm out on Tyrone Tracy. Don't really draft him. Ayuk, I haven't been drafting. I'm going to try to avoid injured players. Quarterback-wise, there's no way I need another QB right now. Tight end, we're going to wait and try to push for Jonnu potentially. Or Warren. Caleb goes. I think this is the spot to just go ahead and take Pollard. Let me know what you think. Wabi saying their QB position is a question mark now. Not that Carr was the greatest option either. Yeah, getting a lot of hate on the Saints. So we're going to start fading the Saints a little bit more. For some reason, I thought I was on the turn. I'm way more in the middle of the draft than I thought I was. I was acting like I had the next pick that whole time. So the chance that Pollard gets back is actually a lot smaller now. It must have been the last draft throwing me off. I thought I had that turn pick. I like Pollard there or Hawk available. Yeah, well, now that I think about it, pick 90 is not bad for Hawk. There's a lot more picks in between where I thought I was going. I thought I was, okay, Hawk, pick 70s, early 80s is a little bit, but pick 90 is not bad. And in fact, pick 90, I don't hate that for Jonnu either. If we're really going to get him on this team, that's where you got to take him, unless he's going to fall. I don't see him falling that often. The tight end exposures look fine. Probably need more Njoku, if anything, in general. So let me queue him up. And then I think what I'm hearing is we're kind of fading Aaron Jones as well. And then get Jones and Mason. Is that the backfield you want? Luckily, Aaron Jones goes. I don't have to make that decision. Pollard or Hawk. On this super team, I'm going to push tight ends. Tight end's going to be the area where I'm not going to have an elite tight end necessarily. We'll see, to be determined. I do want to grab Pollard here. It says I've got 10% Pollard. I believe it. I feel like I click him pretty often. Somehow, I think my Devo must be from all the little boards. I must have been clicking Devo as my wide receiver 4 very, very often in the little boards. In little boards, I was doing some kind of builds where I was really going for those mid-round QBs, taking a ton of wide receivers up front, and then grabbing Najee as my running back 1 or 2 like half the time, honestly. So I can see my Najee exposure. It's definitely I'd have to look back at it. I guess if I pull up someone else's team who has Najee, can I see my exposure on their teams? That's what I want to know because my Najee exposure has definitely gone down. So Strawny Cash. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Look at that. It flipped away. I don't know if y'all caught that. My Najee exposure is still 17%. At one time, it was about 25%. So it's definitely come down a bit. After Robbie took Jaden Reed, he grabbed Jacoby Myers, a player that I like for sure. Putting up some good seasons back to back. And right now is the number 2 target for the Raiders, number 1 wide receiver for them. Mooney's a fun pick here. Crazy run of luck. Wabi gets Tyler Warren. It's a good pick. But the Mark Andrews, Jonnu, and Kelsey all going, I was almost certain that Johnny would not make it back. Kind of unfortunate. Tyler Warren would have been a fun pick there too. Sometimes you see Mark Andrews fall, and I've been in on Andrews pretty much every year for best ball. Okay, the 100 pick that I've got next, the 114. Neither of those are going to be QBs for me. It's going to be running backs and receiver if we need it. If we find someone there that we want, that we need. Bo Nix is falling a little bit. Not on this squad though. Not for me. Goff obviously should be going around here anyways. Bo Nix does get taken. What do y'all think? Yeah, and the fact I can see my exposure to other teams. Yeah, hell yeah. I didn't search the player. Okay, that's what I'll do next time. That's even smarter. Look how much Kirk I have. I told you I had like 25% Kirk. I had like 25% Najee. They both come down a bit. I'm going to go ETN here. ETN BTJ. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll need to do that in another draft and make a point to go after that backfield. I think that's smart. It's pretty fun to do. Something we've done in previous years as a best ball community around. Going with Achane and Mostert worked out fine 2 years ago. In the past, other years, you can think of a lot of different backfield combinations. Maybe it's Walker and Charbonnet that can pay off. Hardman says a little bit too high. Doesn't hate the idea though. I would agree. A little bit high for Mason to be a super team right now because of where Mason was previously going. A lot of my exposure to Mason is pick. I want to say 150 to 170 is where he's going early on. Just catching up with my notifications. 5 is on auto and killed my dream with a Viking double hawk. Yeah, I did not notice that he was on auto, so thanks for pointing that out. Always good to keep track of. But he got hawk. I saw that one. And then, of course, you were going with the JJ and the hawk. Yeah, Addison's over here. So you've got some competition for JJ McCarthy. There's 3 teams that are going to be in the JJ McCarthy running. Yep. Yo, what up? Index of suspicion. Hope you're having a great Friday night, my man. Could take QB running back in one with Fields. Yep. Yeah. Where is Fields? I mean, that's interesting. Fields is a guy I don't have a ton of. I had more last year in Best Ball Mania in those drafts. I don't have a ton of Fields right now. Fields would look interesting on this team, I think, for sure. Definitely a huge upside pick, upside swing. Um, yeah, I've got Fields pretty far down in my personal ranks I have loaded in here right now. But no, I know this exactly where he's been going. And he goes one pick before me, so you're not wrong. Like this is the right spot to take him. I'm not going to go May on this squad. Excuse me. I'm not going to go low. I'm going to keep waiting on quarterback. I don't think I want Brian Robinson necessarily. I kind of like Cam. Is Cam a super team player? Or do I need another running back? I could take Njoku. I'm gonna take Scatabo. I just like Scatabo. I think he's fine. Maybe a little bit ahead of Swift, who I've been taking also, a little bit ahead of Mason. Somehow my Mason exposure is perfectly, perfectly good, and I was getting him, further down the board. We're gonna fade the Saints as it's been a consensus in the chat to fade the Saints a little bit. Scatabo, do I go him? Do I go Swift again? Do I go Mason there? Or do I get Njoku there? I think those are all fair picks. Can't really go wrong. I feel like there's no super wrong answer there. See what's there with the next pick. Evan Ingram, I'm surprised. The Bo Nix team did not get Evan Ingram. That sucks for him. A tad early. Yeah, a tad early, but if he pays off, he's going to pay off. This is that QB pocket, right? So I think it's a good call out. Scatabo. And this is where I would drop the Cam Scatabo highlight clip if I was done editing it. But it was so hard. I'm telling you, his highlights from even just last year there's so many good runs, hard-nosed runs, breaking tackles, stiff arms, catching the ball out of the backfield. Like I'm gonna have that clip ready. Probably if I throw out a stream tomorrow night, there's a chance. We'll see if I stream tomorrow night. I've got some stuff going on during the day, but could be back late tomorrow night. And then Sunday night, probably not streaming this week. So or this Sunday. So yeah, I'll try to keep it going. I'm gonna try to do another stream. I've got a little streak going. The Friday or the Thursday, the Wednesday. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The Wednesday stream I did for PGA Best Ball was really fun. It was a quick one. It was really fun for me. I know some of y'all were there checking it out. Appreciate that. And then last night was fun kicking it with PPR Tyler and doing a draft. Took a ton of rookies and talked some ball. So that was a fun one too. Appreciate y'all being here for that. And one to check out if you didn't catch that stream and you're just dying for more content. That was a pretty good one from last night. And then tonight, been pretty chill, getting 2 drafts in, and got the best ball overlay up on the stream. Finally, I made it happen. So Tua goes. That's kind of a bummer for me. I would have loved to have gotten Tua. He goes a bit early. But what I'm going to go ahead and do, hopefully with Jaw Klein already having 3 quarterbacks, Stronny Cash in the 5 spot, is he going to mess it up? Okay. It would have been nice to have Njoku, but I honestly would have potentially passed on Njoku to secure the Trevor Lawrence bag. So let's get it with T-Law. And then let me do a quick refresh. I think what that'll do is show my T-Law, or do I have to scroll through? Okay, I scroll through. Still learning. And then, sorry, I left that Scatabo up. Scatabo there was best, in my opinion. Yeah, I left that up. Probably was blocking some of what I was talking about on the draft board. We're on the same targets tonight mostly, but I like this team. Nice. It'd be a 20-minute clip. I know. The Scatabo highlights are insane. I'm not big on T Fraud, but BTJ is a winner. Yeah, I would agree. Some people are out on Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't really shown that he's definitely not elite, of course, but could he have a career year? Maybe. Look who I've been stacking him with. Some reason Jalen Wright. That's kind of a weird one, but in some of these larger fee tournaments, I'm guessing Gabe Davis makes sense. Kirk is funny because it used to make sense in some ways, but everyone kind of knew Kirk was going to go. But I think what I was doing is I just take a lot of Kirk, so he just happens to be there, and then now I have the AFC South correlation. Hampton's kind of funny, Judy's kind of funny. I don't know why those are so correlated. Najee. I guess I haven't been drafting Trevor Lawrence since when I was also drafting a lot of Kirk, Najee, and then Hampton. Hell yeah, because that means I got Hampton at a great value. So, index of suspicion. You were talking about T Fraud. Fortunately, I've got Jaden Daniels, so this is probably a 2 QB build. A lot of times, your QB room will look more impressive with 2 QBs and then kind of diluting it with that third. And I don't know that I need another one with Jaden Daniels. I'm treating him as going to be the QB1 next year. Draft like you're right. I've got him double stacked. 138 range. We need to think about, what do I need to take here? I'm going to ignore QBs. Penix, McCarthy, Stroud. Spears. There's no obvious picks here in my mind. Obviously, Strange is much later. Do I take Goddard here and just start laying down a foundation of tight ends? Could be the move. Maybe he gets traded. Could be the move. He does fall a little bit. So, is that... Yeah, no, 100%. We're on the same wavelength. I don't know that I need a wide receiver here, and they all kind of suck, right? Unless I took... I'm going to go Goddard, lay a foundation for tight end. We're in the mid rounds. You don't want to be left out without anything at tight end. I think Goddard's fair there. If I did take a wide receiver, it would have been a huge reach. And then also just completely uncorrelated with all the current picks there. Running back, I just couldn't get there. It's a little bit of a dead zone. I don't think I need Spears on this one. Got Pollard. Do I want to lock down both of the Tennessee running backs? It's probably not really, right? Sweet. Okay. We're looking good. We've got the Jaguars. We got 3 of them. We've got 3 Commanders. And then it didn't work out getting Tua, but I've got Jalen Waddle and Achane. So there's still a little team bet there on the Dolphins. I just like the idea of having Miami players on my team. Can put up big spike weeks and just dream of being on the beach in Miami. Every time I look at those players, that's where I want to be this summer. Got to make a trip out to Miami soon. I've got some other trips on the books, but probably won't be going to the beach anytime soon with the newborn. And my 2-year-old, she loves beaches actually, but with a newborn, the beach is not really an ideal spot to be. It's kind of you realize the beach is more of a desert when you're there with a young child who has a lot of needs. Being on the beach becomes a lot less fun. So let me catch up with what y'all are saying. We're popping off in the chat here. Appreciate y'all all being here. Make sure you're sub to the channel and throw a like out there. And just for being here, I appreciate you guys for spending some Friday night with me. And hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. Excited about the Masters, maybe. And hope your bets go well if you're placing them at Augusta. Oh, that's a sexy number. 37% Daniels. I like that. Draft like you're right. Yep. Goddard would be good if you think wide receiver's flat. I do, because then, and you called it, Hartman. You literally hit the nail on the head. Look how this ends up. Not a single wide receivers gone between Keenan Allen. I mean, Trey Harris is kind of nice. Jaden Higgins kind of nice. Quentin Johnson, I don't not like. I like Quentin just fine. Keon, like terrible. Look at this run. Other than 5 receivers, there's been anything but for the last 2 rounds. So I think we made the right choice. Stay in the pocket, take the tight end. There's some nice running backs that have gone in here, though. Some upside running backs here, too. Some guys, some rookies. And then the QBs go. Wabi gets his. JJ McCarthy, congrats on your double stack. Love to see it. I think I'm done at QB. So let's get back. Yeah. Tillman with Flacco. Slayton has 2 outs. Plenty of options at receiver. Fate. Yep. Yeah. For those kind of like late stacks. Okay. I do take a bit of Thielen, and I might need to chill on that. You might be able to talk me off Thielen. I think he's a decent wide receiver 6. He's kind of ageless. He's a red zone threat. In the limited games he played last year, he got some TDs. I think I'm just going to go with him for now because I don't really like what else is here in this range. And it's too early for you-know-who at tight end, either one of them. But pretty soon I'm going to hit tight end up again. So I think it is the right spot. I've taken a break from wide receiver. I had 5 wideouts through my first 79 picks. Take a big break, come back, get Thielen. Why not? Maybe he's hitting the age cliff. So, I mean, at this point in the draft, round 13, it's not that big of a swing and a miss. I'm ending up with a lot of Thielen this year. It's kind of weird. I'm pretty sure I was out on Thielen last year. And then sorry about that. I keep leaving the chats up. Yeah, that's a sweet amount of Jane Daniels. Everyone's into it. Yep. Once you had your go at either one of them, I agree. Because then with Penix, he was kind of either that Mooney out, and then he was kind of holding it down too. But the Bijan drafter gets Penix, so that works out. So, I mean, pick 62, is that too early? I don't think so. 75, is that too early? Let me do a quick ADP check. This could be a spot to take. Oh, and Giddens and Harvey go. Those are the guys I would have targeted with this next pick if I don't go tight end. Let them cook. Yeah, appreciate it, Bindles. Who's 9th on the board? Quails. Is Quails doing something interesting? Malik Brock is fun. Brees is a good value. Rashi, Olave, Mahomes, stacked. Caleb, Pacheco. I mean, this is a pretty good team. And against Gino, Quails is cooking a little bit. There's a few super teams on this board. We got 2 of them. I mean, speak for myself. I think I'm building a little getting close to super team, and then Wabi's got a super team forming himself. Just a bunch of bros out here chatting it up, giving each other props on a Friday night. Okay. First thing I'm thinking is Neal. Otherwise, I'm going to do it, right? We're going to hit Strange and then come back for Ertz, and we can push the rookie running backs because I don't think my running backs are that weak. I mean, these 4 could hit and I could be good. So I don't think I need Neal on this team to be a super team. I've never seen someone draft a Devin Neal team and then everyone kind of like fawns over it. He's not a player that's getting a lot of hype. Strange, we steamed him up. I mean, that's the highest I've ever seen Strange go. He fits with the team, though. So I think it's worth it. Take him ahead of ADP and just say, get your guys. Build the team that's going to hit. For some reason, BTJ gets 180 yards but no touchdowns. Strange gets 2 catches, 2 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I've seen stranger things than that. Giddens, Harvey over Thielen, in my opinion, in a strange time. Yeah, I think that could have been smart. My only fear was if I let receiver just continue to fall down the board, where do I end up at pick 175 or 186? receiver. I mean, but at the same time, taking that like bimodal approach to wide receiver, I went so heavy in the front half of the draft on the wideouts that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. It would have been 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 picks in between taking a receiver. It's kind of hard to do that and not end up in a bad spot. You had to kind of thread the needle. So I agree, though. I would have liked to have gotten one more rookie, like a Giddens or a Harvey on this team. I've got some other names in mind that potentially will be there with one of the next 2 picks that can work out just nicely. So, of course, it would be nice to get Ertz. I don't think we have to get Ertz because we've got the double stack already. I think after that, I'd be done. And then with the Jaguars, now we're sitting in a pretty good spot where I don't need Diami, Gabe, or Parker Washington, but they would be nice to have. And so maybe that was the reason we could have pushed tight end and pushed Strange, knowing we could have gotten one of these guys late. Something else to consider, and the fact that Ertz is going to be there. I mean, get one or the other, not both. See, now I'm in a weird spot because it's like, do I go Martinez? I do like Martinez. I don't know if Corum or Algier fit this team. Let me know what y'all think in terms of rookie running backs. Noel's a fun pick. I could be done at tight end and really get a lot of correlation cooking. Alec Pierce is kind of a fun click for the conference correlation. I think and Martinez goes. I don't know. We needed a running back. Might have to go back on the other side of the board now. Trevor Etienne will be there. Gabe Davis is not good. Okay, I'm going to catch up on these. We've said a lot of good things in the chat. Let me go ahead and get Zach Ertz and then figure out what's next. Martinez might have been nice at one. I mean, a little bit of reach at 162, but would have been nice on this team. Maybe he's in a similar tier to Giddens and Harvey in some people's minds. I think Dyami Brown's the play to do, and then we'll just kind of fade Gabe Davis. Yep. Yep. Totally. And then just the positional value of a tight end, right? ETN is a fun click later on. I've got Travis Etienne and I get Trevor Etienne. It's gonna be kind of funny, the Etienne stack, right? Any of the 3 running backs? Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Kent late. Yeah, Brashad. I'm liking these. Algier, if I can. Yeah, he goes. Pierce went. Noel goes. Kind of the guys I was highlighting went. It's get your guys season. We're this late in the draft now. Pick 186. We're throwing ADP out the window. We're making a super team. Throwing this out here. Is Eckler a guy you want stacked up with Jaden Daniels on this kind of backfield? It could work. I don't hate it. Let me know if y'all hate it. We're going really hard on the Commanders then, and maybe we just fade him. I've already got plenty of them. He's old. So let me know what you think. Otherwise, Rashad Smith. I'm going to throw out Rashad Smith. Ollie Gordon could be a pick here. Corum went. Martinez, Algier, Corum, and they're all gone. Eckler or Rashad Smith. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to fade Eckler and assume that they're going to replace him with a rookie, phase him out. The concussions kind of scared me off Eckler a little bit. I've got a lot of exposure. Eckler is what I do when I have Jaden Daniels and I don't have Terry McLaurin and Debo and Zach Ertz. It's like a last ditch effort to stack Jaden Daniels with somebody that could potentially catch passes from him. I'm going to go with some upside swing on the rookie out at SMU, Brashad Smith, who's technically was a running back for like 1 year, so maybe a little bit risky, but could be a good pick. Somehow I thought I had way more Cam Scatterbo. I think it's because people chase his ADP up, and then it's hard to get him. People will take him right out from under you. So a player I need to get some more of. Flip to the board. I think because of the amount of team stacking I've already done, it's pretty safe. I could, like you said, do a late Diami Brown. You guys are on to him. Maybe Parker Washington if I need to with a last round pick. So I think avoiding Gabe Davis makes some sense. Wabi gets his Cole Kmet and Chig. Okay. Just some my guys. Straight up my guys. You know, they always say tight ends can become a quarterback's best friend. Those rookie QBs coming into the league need a safety valve. That could be Chig this year. I've always liked Chig's profile. Thought he was pretty fast. Potentially could be a big play guy at tight end. So maybe it's his breakout year with Cam Ward elevating him the way that Cam Ward just elevated the whole Miami offense. Arroyo, Martinez, Slow Strepo. Exactly. This is a super team. Austin Eckler is on a super team from the year 2021, 2022. It's 2025. Keaton Mitchell is an interesting name. I've seen Keaton Mitchell thrown out previously a couple streams ago. Who was it? Somebody else was on the Keaton Mitchell too, and I didn't take him. Maybe it was someone who's here tonight. Let me know if you also like Keaton Mitchell. That's one vote for Mitchell. I'm beginning to think about it. A double stack with T-Law is all I could handle. That makes sense. Yeah, I got to be careful not to overstack. Yeah, at the same time, it's pre-draft. You know, if this was 18 rounds, I definitely would be a little bit more cautious to overstack in some ways. But having 20 rounds, a little bit more freedom, and then also the security of knowing what team the player is going to be on is helpful. But with pass catchers, you can definitely, well, you can overstack, but you know, maybe you're just looking for a 1 week spike out of a player and you're going to catch the right pass or, you know, put a touchdown pass or two from T-Law to whoever. But we're going to hope that that's BTJ. Wabi gets Marshawn Lloyd. A lot of Marshawn Lloyd love in the chat. So I need to get on that. I've not been drafting Marshawn Lloyd so much this year. I think I've at least drafted him once or twice, probably once, but we can check the exposure with Jordan Love when I miss out on all of those partners. Ollie Gordon just goes. So that would have been interesting on the wraparound. Kind of need a wide receiver. I think Jalen Royals is going to be a pick here that I want to make. I've got Igbuka. Yeah, Keaton Missile. Okay, this is a couple of votes for Keaton. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to grab Royals here. I hope it's not a mistake. I hope Jarquez, Jordan James are still potentially there. I need to get more Jarquez. We've got plenty of Jordan James, actually. Pretty sure I've not taken Keaton. I was going to look at Marshawn. So I've taken Marshawn probably 3 times. I've taken Keaton Mitchell twice, actually. That's so fun. I love having best ball overlay. This is the perfect use case for why it's so good. I can't even remember drafting Keaton Mitchell. But that's what happens when you do 50 little boards within like 2 weeks. In no particular order, all of these running backs. But I feel pretty good at the moment at wide receiver after getting Royals, who I think could be a steal, could be nice, could have a nice landing spot in the upcoming draft. 2573, going to QB almost certainly, unless I get a last round Milrow or Dart or Shadur for some reason. Assuming I go 2 and 3 tight end, I could go 7 and 8. So I can get 2 more running backs, 1 more wide receiver. Not a lot of Miami. Likes the Royals. Jarquez. I might grab Jarquez here. Even though his ADP is so much higher, he doesn't seem like he's. And then, okay, Gabe Davis goes. What do y'all think? Dyami Brown or Jarquez Hunter is who I'm between for this next pick. I'll let y'all kind of decide. I could go either way. I don't think Jarquez is going to keep falling, though. Even though his ADP is so high, it seems like he's been going more often. My next pick is 223. So got a slight value here if I do want to take Dyami Brown. At the same time, do we just stop there and not overstack it? Jarquez, probably Dyami if you don't see any wide receiver you want. I like Tory later, maybe. Let's take Dyami Brown. And then, I mean, Wabi could obviously take Jarquez, but maybe I'll get him. Jarquez. Oh, shit. Jarquez in a vacuum. Jarquez. Okay, Jarquez is going to be there on the next pick. Don't worry about it. We're going to play this. We're going to thread the needle. This is a super team. Well, I'll do me, but at the same time, I'm building the super team for y'all and for me because I'm gonna if I win it with this team, it's for me. But I like the input y'all give me as well. I think building a super team with some chat input is helping me stay sharp and on top of these picks. The Jalen Royals pick, Dame Brugler has him as the wide receiver 5 in this class, maybe 6. I think it was 5. So that gets me pretty hyped on Jalen Royals as a value. I know that some of y'all like him too. Let me see what y'all are saying. Yeah, the Keaton missile. He might come in a last round pick. We got 2 more running back spots to go with. Jaden Blue goes. Love Jaden Blue. Mitchell was great as a rookie. Had the injury. Didn't really come back last year, right? Okay, I think I'm caught up. No, go Tory if he's there. I got a lot of Tory Horton. Like I was saying in the last draft, I'm in on Tory Horton, and this is your draft too, man. Take the players you like, get who you want, and I'm gonna make it work. I mean, we've done so many pivots tonight in the last draft and this one, but this is coming together pretty nicely. I think this could be the super team. I might be excited to share this one and call it a super team and not get a lot of pushback. Oh, and there goes Troy Horton. Spoke too soon. Nerf grabs him. What do you guys think about Savion Williams? He's a guy I've only seen a little bit of. I didn't watch a lot of TCU last year, I'll be honest. Not the most TCU. So Savion is an interesting one. Felton's kind of interesting. Felton's a guy I've been drafting in the fast draft origins. I like Felton as a late round pick there. Rolls is a good pick. Yeah, sorry, I realized I was just covering the board. So Horton goes, Mostert, Felton, Shipley. LeKent is still there at the end. Could be good, could be good. Runway is clear, in for a landing. This is not a Delta flight. This is not a Korean Air flight. And that's where I'm going to stop the airline jokes. But the runway looking clear. Audric Estime goes, a guy that I'm probably fading. Okay. The people have spoken. This is easily a snap pick, Jarquez. He was the first team SEC Auburn running back. He's had a pretty good career at Auburn. I think he's a fun pick. There's still Jordan James. ETN got shouted out earlier. We've been talking about Keaton Missile, so we can throw him in there too. I'm going to go ahead and cue him first. And then look at that. Allen Jr. Just another fun name to throw out there. He's a Syracuse running back. I'm not so familiar with his game. I'm not a big Syracuse guy. I've never been in on Syracuse players in general. I think we've got Allen Jr. and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Gadsden the tight end from Syracuse too? Sean Tucker came out of Syracuse a few years ago. I completely faded him. He did almost nothing his rookie year and then had a blow-up game for the Bucks last season and is getting drafted because of it. I've, in general, kind of been out on Sean Tucker. I think that draft class he was in had a lot stronger running backs. Charbonnet, Bijan, Gibbs, to name a few. So Sean Tucker was not really on my watch list. I don't catch a lot of Syracuse. LeKent Allen, I think could mix it in, could be fun. When I compared Allen Jr.'s stats to Tucker, Tucker was, I think, more impressive in college. But correct me, you guys might know this. Allen Jr., I think he broke some records for total yardage or rushing yardage at Syracuse too. So he might be, more interesting than I'm thinking. Yeah. Torrey goes before your pick. You got Ty, though. I like Ty. Savion knew Cordell Patterson. That doesn't sound very good for me. Although Cordell Patterson had some up and down seasons as a wide receiver, as a running back. Older rookie with upside as a gadget guy. Yeah, okay, I can see that. With those running backs, favorites, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Gadsden's that guy. LeKent goes undrafted. That's true. If I don't take my draft, so do with what you will. Yeah, I think I'm in for Keaton Missile. That's kind of a fun pick. Ton of upside. 7 yards per carry as a freshman. I can jump back to the stats. Someone dropped the stats into the chat a while back. I'll pull that up and then make the pick. Jackson Dart goes. I mean, I could take Milrow, but man, y'all have been chatting it up. I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all being here on a Friday night. I can't even find the chat where we were talking about Keaton Missile because there's so many chats in here. I thought it'd be easier to see it. I'm almost on the board. Where was it? I'm remembering the 7 yards per carry from my memory. I think that's right though. Let's see if I can find it before this next pick. If not, we're gonna get him anyways. No, I don't know. I can't find it. Y'all could probably search it faster anyways. I could probably search it faster on the internet. Let's make this last pick. I'm totally in. Keaton, Mitchell. Let's do some quick math there. If I pull him up here, can I look at his stats again? So let's just ignore last year, come back, recovery. 9 receptions, 93 yards, off to a good start. That's 10 per carry or 10 per touch. The 47 goes into the 400. That's quick math says, I think that's higher than 7 yards per carry. So per touch, he's got 56 touches and about 500 yards. So looking really good there. It was 9 per touch, if I remember correctly. And then doing that math, seeing it there. 9 per touch. Sound right to y'all? So exciting because he was like one of the only players that rookie year that on a per touch efficiency, I think was higher than Achane, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. That's some solid math. And then if you factor in the receptions too, the touches. Yeah. Okay. Y'all have Keaton missile pilled me. I've been Keaton pilled. I'm officially on team Keaton Mitchell. I'm gonna be drafting him in the 20th round, maybe the 19th round. And then get that Jarquez Hunter up. Let me throw some music on. Let's do some quick. Oh, wait, what? Okay, we're gonna have to look at this board. I know there was a few weird teams. The guy in the 5 spot was autoing. Maybe not the whole draft, but I thought he was early on. We identified. Nerf must have gone with a 4th running back, but otherwise this team looks ridiculous. Let's do some quick team reviews. If I go drafts, NFL are completed. All right, we did it. We did big board 61 and 62 tonight. Appreciate y'all so much for being here, spending some Friday night with me, chatting it up, talking ball. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. More streams coming soon. Let's get into it. Let's go back to the draft. I'll start with my team, and then it's called hyper fragile. he's just one tier more super than my team was, going hyper fragile. I'm not big into hyper fragile. I've tried to pull it off a few times. Probably I'll do it more in these 18 round drafts in some of these time box contests. I potentially. Let me know if y'all are into some hyper fragile builds. The question for y'all before we end the stream, we're gonna look at my team and Wabi's team. Is this an elite squad? Jayden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence as the 2 QBs. I think stopping there is good. Maybe if I refresh it. Oh, dang. Okay. Let me pull it up on Firefox real quick. Dang. See, I told you it's Chrome and Underdog and Chrome are not getting along. Because it's after midnight, they might be pushing some update right now that is screwing it up. So I apologize for the delay on that, but I can pull it up on Firefox and all's well that ends well. We'll get to see it one way or another. Okay. Good as new, except for now we don't have, of course, the overlay. Jayden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Achane holding it down with the anchor, Pollard, Etienne, those are my veterans holding it down. The first 3, Scatabo, exciting name. Rashard Smith, pretty interesting. Jarquez Hunter is kind of a name rookie pick of the kind of been hot this week. Keaton Missile, I like this. I think this is a lot of upside. We'll see where the rookies land. But of course, Etienne stacked up on my team stack as well. Tony Pollard's my bring back. Tony Pollard, hey, maybe they're Jaguars are playing the Titans. That's a bring back. So Brian Thomas stacked up. Diami Brown stacked up. Jags. McLaurin, Debo double stack. So, you already know what's coming at tight end. Got the triple stacks on deck. We landed it. We made it work. Jalen Waddle, another team bet on Miami. Igbuka, Jalen Royals, my rookie swings. Thielen, maybe a little safety touchdown. Could be a guy that goes off in the right weeks. Goddard, some foundation for my tight ends. Burton Strange and Zach Ertz all stacked up. So I'm going to call this a super team. In my mind, it's probably, if I judged all my drafts, my 62 big boards as a pod, I put this in the top, quintile. This is one of my top 20% teams. So I'm feeling good about it. I've got the Jayden Daniels Terry McLaurin stack that I've been looking for weeks. I'm pretty excited about that alone. So it's a fun one. We never know. The Commanders double. Nice one, Candyman. Appreciate all the love. Hyper Fragile. Yeah, we got there. Oh no, we saved it. Yeah, if you're still here, if you already signed off. Love the team. Might even be a super team. We did it. I think we did it. Let's check out our boy Wobby's team. He's got the sick Mohawk, and he went with a 3-6-8-3. Okay, so we know he started off with Jefferson. Do a quick peek. Jefferson and McCarthy stack. Nice. The Jordan Love, Jalen Milroe. So he did grab Milroe at the end there. I like that pick, especially with these two quarterbacks. There's rushing upside in McCarthy, but Milroe is going to be a nice piece in this kind of mid quarterback grouping. So I like this. Jordan Love was going higher last year than he is this year. I don't see why. Potentially, if they draft another wide receiver, could be good. Could be a good spot for them. Bucky Irving and Hampton's a really strong start when you go there. And you got the team correlation with Mason, Dowdle, got Lloyd, some more team correlation, and Jaden Blue's one of my favorite picks. Hampton and Blue's fun. Rico Dowdle, I think, just kind of depends on what you're looking for. I think you needed a little bit more veteran kind of presence to hold down this running back room. A guy that just proved he can kind of handle the rock, and we'll see what he does in Carolina. But so I think that's an upside pick. It's a fun swing. That running back room definitely works for me. The wide receivers, the star of the show. Anytime you have Justin Jefferson, you could just automatically have what you need to get there. Look at what Jamar Chase did, advancing 40% of teams last year, whatever it was. Could be Justin Jefferson this year. I love DJ Moore. It's a fun pick. Get the NFC North correlation, like I mentioned. Godwin's good. Jaden Reed stacked. Myers is a good click there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. They're your first 75 picks. Strong. And you didn't go too far with it either. You got Mooney, and you waited. You got Wicks stacked up, and Felton for the upside at the very end. So I think that's the right amount of receivers to take and the right allocation. Your tight end room looks good. If Tyler Warren hits, it would look really, really good. And then you got another bear in there. So fun stuff. Let's look at the hyper fragile. Yeah. Love that team. Might be a super team. Hyper fragile. Let's look at that one quickly. It was Quails had some weird stuff going on. It wasn't his team. It was Nerf. A Nerf hyper fragile. Is this a super team? 3, 4, 9, 4. Tua, Drake May, and Cam Ward. Let's see how he pulled that off. Dylan Sampson, Jalen Wright, Antonio Gibson, Jordan James. It is not a super team. It's not even a hyper fragile. He just forgot to draft running backs completely. Jamar Chase. Good draft. Yeah, appreciate you being here. Fun one. We'll do it again soon. Nice squad. Wow. I agree. That was a really, really good squad. I don't think this guy landed it. Too many rookie wide receivers to not have a running back at that point. What are you going to do when T-Mac's hitting your flex and Matthew Golden and Burden are going off on your bench? Yeah, this unfortunately, this drafter fell in love with some rookie wide receivers and did not land the plane. Oh, what are you going to do when you have McBride in your tight end spot? You have T-Mac in your flex. You have Jonnu on your bench, Kelsey and Henry all on your bench. And you have Jalen Wright getting 0 points, Gibson getting 0 points, Jordan James 0 points, Dylan Sampson gets you 10. Yeah, this one, curveball. So there's a dead team in here. We only got to beat out 9 more teams to advance. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a great Friday night. Have a great weekend. We'll draft again real soon. It was a fun one. I think we got our super team. We landed it. Shout out to Best Ball Overlay. Shout out to everyone coming out to the chat tonight. I'll catch y'all next draft. Peace. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like actions speak louder than words.